What's up, everybody? It's your boy TGK back with another reaction video. Today, we got something different to react to, man. We're going to react to the homies YouTube channel called Handles Up. This video is called They Lied to Us About Luka Doncic. Definitely interested to see what the hell this video is about. I don't know if this is a negative video on Luka Doncic or a positive video on Luka Doncic, but you already know, as I like to say, enough of the fluff. Let's get to the stuff. All right, here we go, man. Again, the title of this video is They Lied to Us About Luka Doncic. Again, I don't know if it's positive or negative, but let's check it out.
Like, that doesn't come down the conveyor belt.
Yeah.
This kid's a really, I mean, he's better than Ricky Rubio, but he doesn't he doesn't look special to me.
I think
his feet is slower. His feet is slower than rush hour traffic. Okay.
That's my takeaway. He doesn't pop athetically.
Yeah.
The athleticism, that's a problem. The lack of athleticism.
Yeah, it doesn't have it.
He shoots it like he do?
No, he don't shoot
okay,
it like that.
Like, there was another clip of him, I think, trying to dunk in warm-ups, and I don't want to say he looked strained, but it looked kind of like me trying to, like, grab the net, like, hit the...
Luka will not be, like, a perennial all-star type player.
I don't see that.
Oh. Chris Broussard, that is one of those takes that I know he wishes he could have it back. I know all these guys wishes they could have these takes back. Because those are some bad ones, man. Those are some bad ones. Real tough ones.
Doncic at 6'7" will get exposed for all of the inadequacies that Dirk.
I don't believe he's a lottery pick.
Not a lottery pick.
No, I don't.
Wow.
He struggled with quick defenders. We tend to over-sensationalize European basketball. Okay? There's restrictions that cater to him. You can't have 9 Americans on the floor in Europe.
6 years ago, at the beginning of the season, Luka Doncic was an 18-year-old playing for Real Madrid that nobody seemed to really give too much credit to. Fast forward a few months later, and the world was raving about this 18-year-old kid who just led his team to win the 2018 Euroleague tournament and win Euroleague MVP. Still, there were many doubters. Some just didn't believe in the overseas quality of basketball. Because of all the doubt, he slid in the draft and was the 3rd pick. But even still, the fans were all falling in love with him.
I mean, it's sliding to the 3rd pick of a slide, like at that time. Like, yeah, he should have been 1st, right? But he's still 3rd pick, yo. Even though, like, I don't know. I don't think it's like a big slide down the draft board or whatever the case may be, but I get what he's saying. Like, yeah, he should be 1st. But it wasn't like a major, like he was 10th. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he was 10th. He was 3rd. Like, let's not overhype that, but he definitely should have been 1st, 1,000%. Those other 2 teams are kicking themselves, and Atlanta, bro. Like, come on.
And when he got to the NBA, he showed all the doubters just how wrong they were. Fast forward 5 years, LeBron is 39 years old, and all fans are wondering just who is going to take over the NBA when LeBron is gone. And we may have just found our answer. This is the story of Luka Doncic.
Okay, I'm liking this so
Luka
far.
Doncic was the son of a pro basketball player from a league first division club where NBA player Goran Dragic began his pro career. Luka, 5 years old when he first met Dragic, always had a basketball in his hands and put up shots anytime a basket was open. Occasionally, he entertained the crowd with halftime dribbling at midcourt. More than a decade after meeting Luka, Goran had this to say about him. But the one thing I could say is, as a young kid, he already had a passion for basketball. Luka Doncic soon grew out of ball boy responsibilities and halftime entertainment. It didn't surprise Dragic when he later heard that the Euroleague powerhouse Real Madrid recruited Luka to join its academy at the age of 13. He was dominating the junior levels and making headlines in their native Slovenia. Goran said that everybody was talking about him and that he figured he was something special. Dragic had no doubt after sharing backcourt with Luka during the 2017 Eurobasket tournament, where they led Slovenia to the nation's first title. Dragic earned tournament MVP, but he was certain that Luka was destined for stardom after the then 18-year-old stood out against NBA players.
What do you think for this one, Wonder Boy?
Wonder Boy. He's gonna be the best player in Europe in a couple of years. Trust me on that.
Europe?
In Europe.
Or maybe in the NBA. Luka.
In NBA too. In NBA too.
Come in our party. Join us, please. Join us, please. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Are you okay? He goes.
mark my words, he's gonna be one of the best in the whole world.
Even Josh Richardson back in 2016 was getting in on the start of the hype train, as when Jay Rich returned to Miami after training on the West Coast, he couldn't wait to talk about one of his workout partners. He said, "Yo, I just met this kid. He's going to be the first pick in the draft." It was the summer of 2016 and Jay Rich, who was entering his rookie season with the Miami Heat, was weight training in California. But Jay Rich had never heard of the young Slovenian who was in the same weight room one morning. Luka, fresh off his first full season with Real Madrid, and his agent, Bill Duffy, who also represents Richardson, suggested that both players train at the facility. They played pickup afterwards with other pro talent, and Luka was killing it, hitting some step back jumpers, flicking some pretty passes, and setting the pace in a game that included some established pros. Jay Rich was impressed. He even said recently that he still thinks that he should have been the first pick. But
I never knew this story. I never knew that story. And what's funny is Jay Rich ended up coming to the Mavericks. He got traded over here, and then obviously we dealt him away. That's pretty badass. That's pretty badass. Like, I didn't know they had a backstory like that. So whenever they talked about what was it, when they would play like video games or something like that. Like when he first got over here, like that's pretty cool. I never knew about that story. Like I'm actually learning something.
this is where the stardom didn't just extend to pros. This is where the world was getting to know the name Luka Doncic. The hype was growing every single day, and in 2018, at only 18 years old, he led Real Madrid all the way to the Euroleague and completely took over in the Final Four.
Doncic contra Datome, abre para Carroll que apunta, dispara y la tiene Luka. Con ganas siempre de echar el balón hacia adelante, se frena Luka Doncic, el lanzamiento de Colo a John, se la da Luka Doncic, Luka se queda solo, vuela el triple larguísimo.
Hay que ajustar,
Ahí está Luka, se para, vuela el triple. Bueno.
They won the tournament, with Luka becoming the youngest MVP in Euroleague history. He finished the tournament averaging 16 points, 4 assists, and 5 rebounds. But still, even with all the achievements, there was still so much doubt, at least only in the US, since in Spain and Europe, the buzz around Luka was at the same hype level as Zion was back in North America. It's crazy to think, the basketball Euroleague has to offer is definitely the second best in the world. Much harder.
Yeah, Luka definitely looks faster back then, bro. I mean, 2020 Luka, that was probably one of the best in shape Luka you could go back to. Like, just, you know, how he was able to move back then. Like, he's moving better now this season, but obviously he's been hampered with some knee issues. And I know they're not talking about it, but when you look at the footage back then versus now, it's quite a bit of difference.
Harder than the NCAA and any other league other than the NBA. Luka won MVP in that at only 18 years old. It's crazy to think that anybody could doubt him, but it was time for the 2018 NBA draft, and one person was lobbying hard for Luka. That was Donnie Nelson, the general manager at the time for the Dallas Mavericks. He was the first to spot Dirk Nowitzki's talent, and he tried hard to get Dallas to draft Giannis Antetokounmpo in 2014. But in 2018, he convinced Mark Cuban that Luka Doncic was the guy to target. The Mavericks tanked the 2017-2018 NBA season, all to target Luka. Mark Cuban was even fined $600,000 for public comments he made. He told his team that losing is the best option.
I try to communicate, like, probably not supposed to say this, but like, I just had dinner with a bunch of our guys the other night. I was like, look, losing is our best option.
Cuban, man, jeez, the dude. Yeah, Cuban is who Cuban is, y'all. Cuban is who Cuban is, man. That's so crazy.
You know, Adam would hate hearing that, and I explained what our plans were going to be this summer, that we're not going to tank again. This is like a year and a half of tanking, and that was too brutal for me.
As the season finished, the Mavericks had the third best odds to win the lottery, but ended up with the 5th pick. Donnie Nelson was pretty upset. But Luka was never considered the consensus best player in the draft that saw DeAndre Ayton go number 1 to the Phoenix Suns and Marvin Bagley go number 2 to the Sacramento Kings. Some questioned whether Luka had maxed out, wondering if a player who was so polished could improve. Donnie Nelson had said, "I was glad every time he lost a foot race or didn't look very athletic. To be honest with you, I was cheering for him to screw up in the European Championships days before the draft." And he wanted that all because he wanted Luka to drop in the draft. But as the draft day came, DeAndre Ayton went number 1, Marvin Bagley number 2. Dallas called up Atlanta and they were set on drafting Trae Young at number 3. So not wanting Luka to go to Memphis at number 4, they made the trade to give them their 5th pick, plus their 2019 first round pick, which was top 5 protected, all to get them to draft Luka Doncic at number 3.
2018 NBA Draft, the Atlanta Hawks select Luka Doncic from Ljubljana, Slovenia and Real Madrid.
Crazy. What a time, right? To look back at that time and know what happened that day, and to know that day Atlanta made a massive error, man. That's crazy. 6 years later, man. That's crazy. I remember it like it was yesterday, bro. Crazy.
Plenty of people around the NBA doubted whether Luka, who had grown to a shade taller than 6'7" and more than 230 pounds, could play point guard in the NBA. One talent evaluator for a team picking a little later in that lottery compared him to Hedo Turkoglu, a skilled forward with playmaking ability, a good player, definitely, but far from a superstar. Mavs coach Rick Carlisle admits that even he considered Luka's NBA position to be unclear. He knew Luka had the vision to be a primary ball handler, but he wasn't sure a player that size and with that kind of athleticism could play point guard against the world's premier athletes. Rick Carlisle said, "There's just a perception that players that are big and strong just aren't going to be able to do it because of how could they possibly be quick enough." But one of the things that you find out about Luka when you see him day to day is that he's not only strong, but he's quick and powerful and fast, and deceptively so in all of those areas. It took about a day or two of watching Luka play pickup ball at the Mavs practice facility in the fall before his rookie season for Carlisle to be convinced. He was playing the point and he was seeing everything. He was making amazing passes look so simple. He was impacting every part of the game. He was getting a lot of rebounds. He was finding people on time, on target. It was clear that he could play point guard. Let's put it that way. There was one problem in all of this. That position was already manned by Dennis Smith Jr., the previous year's lottery pick, and an all-rookie selection the Mavs had proclaimed to be a foundation piece. So Luka began his NBA career officially listed as a forward and sharing facilitating duties with Dennis Smith, although Dennis got a larger share of playmaking assignments because he struggled playing off the ball. But Luka made his first start at point guard 6 weeks into the season when Dennis missed a game due to injury and Luka recorded 15 points and 8 assists in that game in a win over the Boston Celtics. He then averaged 20 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists during an 11-game stretch in December when an injury sidelined Smith for all but one game. The Mavs soon came to the conclusion that they needed to move on from Dennis Smith to maximize Luka's potential. Dennis ended up being part of the package Dallas sent to the New York Knicks in the Kristaps Porzingis trade. And
oh, what a trade that was. At the time when that trade happened, we thought everything was right there. We thought everything was right. We thought that was it. We sure as hell thought that was it.
This is where things really started to open up for Luka, and he ran away with 2019 Rookie of the Year honors. But in the next season, he made such a leap that he was the most improved player finalist, averaging 29 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists per game. The only players to stuff box scores with stats that matched or exceeded Luka's in those categories over the course of his season was Oscar Robertson and Russell Westbrook during his MVP season. Luka was even more productive during the playoffs, where he averaged 31 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists, and they pushed the Clippers to 6 games despite losing Porzingis to a knee injury midway through the series. And now, that stat line is the standard for Luka. He's still only 25 years old. The Mavericks made a bunch of changes, they don't have Porzingis anymore, and it's really let Luka come into the light of the MVP type player he can be. The Mavs have been on a roll recently, and it's all thanks to the magic Luka has been doing.
Of any team in the NBA this year at 6, and if they finish this off at 7.
Luka against Quinn Grimes.
Here is Luka giving the ball up to Hardaway. Luka with the rebound, puts it on.
Nothing shocks me about this game.
And that Drew rim, it still is looking at rebound.
More crazy game.
They're combined 0 for 8 from the floor in OT. There's the must-win field goal of overtime to give Luka 58 points and the Mavericks a fight.
We may just see Luka's first MVP season this season, and if the Mavs continue this level of play and winning, that will certainly be the case. Any lingering doubts since his arrival as the most accomplished European team in NBA history have been replaced by a sense of anticipation only a handful of players can command, and it happened much faster than many predicted. Hey, did you want to see the stupidest things NBA players have ever said? Well, click right here. You won't believe.
That was a cool video. That was a cool video. Cool little overview. I feel like he could have added another whole other chunk to Luka's season, where last season, the season with Kyrie, he could have added quite a bit to this. I feel like there was an opportunity missed there. But cool. I learned something new from it. I didn't know the whole story about Jay Rich. That was a first for me. But I thought I was coming into like a negative video. I ain't gonna lie. I thought this was gonna be a negative video. I was like, I gotta watch this, but that's cool, man. It's highlighting Luka's greatness, and I just hope he continues on that path, and hopefully we get Luka an MVP soon, man. You know, we gotta finish we gotta get a top seed and have better stats than the other top seeded players. Anyway, man, it's been your boy TGK. If y'all enjoy all this stuff and all those reaction videos and Mavs content and things like that, please leave a like on the video, consider subscribing. And until next time, guys, it's been your boy TGK. We out.